Hey, welcome to Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian, and my co host will be you guys today because, of course, as always, it's great to see you. So, welcome to the six people in the chat thus far. Thank you for coming by to another episode of Politics and Wellness. I am your host, Captivating Christian. Of course, Mr. Credential is still out working out some things, so just keep him up in prayer. And moving right along to all that is going on. So, excuse me, got a scratch and I don't know how I got it. So, and I just got out the shower. So, let's talk about a few things. First of all, Bill Barr's testimony on Capitol Hill this morning started off with a hiccup. Jerry Nadler, who is the chair of the committee, was in an accident. Thank God he wasn't hurt, but that delayed the hearing starting at, I believe it was supposed to start at 10 or 9, so it delayed it for a while. However, they did have one of the co-chairs step in for him until he arrived to the hearing. So it was interesting. Hey, Lynn T and Patty Duke, welcome. Thank you for dropping down. That was interesting. I mean, it was the same back and forth that we all know, the pushback that the Trump administration officials give to the Democratic people on the board, of course. So that, was a given. I did take away a few things. One, Bill Barr said that they do engage in conversation about re-election. Now, that is not the job of the AG nor the Justice Department to even get involved in elections. They're supposed to stay out of it and not even indulge in the conversation. So I'm not surprised because at this point, Bill Barr has put his whole foot in a lot of stuff that there's no way he can turn around and try to deny it at this point. So I don't know. It didn't accomplish anything. It went around in circles. I don't know. I mean, it's like, why send the people up there to testify? They're going to, dance around the truth, blatantly lie. He had nerve to, when he threw a statistic out there about people of color being harassed by the police, said that it's far more white people that are killed by the police than black people. I mean, the stuff that he was just throwing out was totally like, your statistics are completely wrong and untrue. It's just adding on to the BS, and I just got tired of watching it, really. But I did watch it through. What is going to come of it, I don't know. I mean, I hope the people were paying attention so that way you get to know the ins and outs of certain things that were going on that maybe you didn't know anything about. But again, usual Trump administration fashion to, go back and forth or belittle. He even asked about the rioters, like, will any of the Democrats condemn the rioters? Are we going to do that? Are we going to have that? That's not even what the purpose of you being here is for. Hey, Jess, how you doing? And welcome to everybody in the chat. Welcome. Thank you so much for stopping through. Appreciate it. That's not even what it was for. So I just, was lost. Like, we're not even talking about that. You're here because of all the unethical things you've done in your job as AG thus far. That's what you're here about. You're not here about asking whether the Democrats on the panel will condemn the riots and the looting and things of that nature. But of course, anybody would. But the purpose of what was going on was because of police brutality. Are you going to address that? And of course, he danced around it. So who knows? But anyway, moving right along from that, let's talk about, and this is where I want you guys' input. Who will Biden pick for his running mate next week? Supposedly, he's supposed to be picking next week. So I've already made my little prediction earlier during my midday news. I talked about um, it being Kamala Harris. Um, yes, she's accomplished. Yes, she has a good resume, but we know, well, some of us know that a lot of the political strategists and analysts look at other things. They don't look at what we necessarily would think. Okay, she has an impressive resume. She's done this. She's worked in Congress. Um, it's almost like you got to read in between the lines of what like Biden says and look at the overall picture. So to read in between the lines of like what Biden is saying, he said he wanted to have someone that he was to Obama, somebody who's trustworthy, loyal, so on and so forth. Kind of thinks on the same wavelength as him, a little bit, give or take, um, but somebody he can trust. Okay, so those were keywords that stuck out to me, and thinking about who he can trust. Now we know that he's been um, in the Senate for some time and a part of Congress as a whole for some time. So, okay. So, if we kind of cipher through that, we know that he would probably have the closest relationship with a lot of the senators, i.e., Kamala Harris and Amy Klobuchar, right? Okay. Kind of knocks Amy out the running because there's a push for him to get a woman and a woman of color, no less, right? So that kind of knocks out um, Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, kind of, right? But keep a pin in them. So that still leaves Kamala Harris, right? So of course he was going around, and there was word that he even talked to Stacey Abrams, who is an up and coming political force in the Democratic Party, which was interesting to me because he hasn't really had a relationship with her. So then we still have Kamala Harris still in there, right? So then, of course, yeah, then it was Susan Rice name was talked about. Now I said, that's interesting because he would have a relationship with her as well because she was a part of Obama's administration. So he would get to know her and, trust her and kind of see where her head was. So those two are in my it's probably one of them boxes. Everybody else that they've mentioned, um, Stacey Abrams, who would be a great pick, but he doesn't, to my knowledge, he doesn't know her like he would know Harris and Rice, right? So I kind of X'd them out. Um, the mayor of Atlanta, no, not so much. Only because she's just the mayor of Atlanta. Yeah, she's become popular due to her spat back and forth with her brainless governor, Brian Kemp. But overall, outside of Atlanta, people don't really too much know her. That's almost like what Beto O'Rourke came up against, which I wish he would have just stayed running in Texas for a Senate seat in Texas instead of trying to run, you lose, and then immediately you running for president because, some of your things went viral. No, you should have just stayed in Texas, continued to run for another Senate seat that was coming up, and you probably would have won it. I think sometimes, the boost that you get from running locally, a lot of people think, oh, okay, we could do it nationally because, your name is out there and, got to get it while the getting is good or while the iron is hot and all this other kind of stuff. And it's like sometimes, yeah, you can do that, but do that in your own local, find another place you can run, a Senate seat somewhere you can run. So I don't think it would be a good idea to choose the mayor of Atlanta, although, she's doing great for Atlanta. I I don't think she would be a good pick. So anyway, I like the Beto too. I wish he would have just stuck it out and continued to run it. So Warren would get your progressive vote. Really? Warren is good, and I believe she's going to be in the cabinet. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. So that's how I ended up with my two picks, right? So I ended up with my two picks of Harris and Rice, only because one, he knows Kamala Harris pretty well, right? He knows Rice pretty well. But the difference, well, I don't know who Rice is married to, but for me, visually looking, I'm thinking that they would go with Kamala, and call me crazy, like I said earlier, because she has a white husband, right? And that would kind of smooth over a lot of narrow-minded people who necessarily don't see it for her, but see him as a figure or someone that could sway her to not be focused on one particular group, if that makes any sense. That's the way I see it. And only because it really has shown just that way of how politics run. You take a prime example. Back when Obama was running against the late John McCain, right? So when John McCain was running, Obama was running, right? There was really a lot of push behind Obama running, being the first possible black president. And that was everybody's focus. And you think on the other end, how could you compete against that? Well, how did they feel that they compete against that? They gave McCain a running mate who was a woman. She didn't have, the mayor, the governor of Alaska, Lord knows how she won anything is announced to me, but that's who they picked. They dressed her up nice, made her look pretty, could have just kept her mouth closed, but she started talking and she kind of blew the whole thing. But initially, when she first came on the scene, it boosted McCain up because it was like, okay, we're going against two things. There's a first black president against the first possible vice president person to be in office being a woman. So, of course, the Republican Party was pushing for her. Once she started opening her mouth and talking crazy stuff, people started to back away like, okay, she is really a nut job. But initially, like I said, everybody was, they were all gung-ho, all for it. So, Sarah Palin. Yeah, so we get to now to where in which I got it. I know you was talking about. So we get to now, here we have a chauvinistic, egotistical, big man baby in office, right? Who's racist, a bigot, all of the above, right? So to combat that in a political setting, you need the same energy, but more toned down. And that's where you have Joe Biden, right? So Joe Biden and Trump are pretty much the same. It's just that it's not as abrupt. You know what I'm saying? It's like a slip and you're like, oh, did he really just say that? Oh, God. Like try to clean that up. They can take that than Trump, right? So he's like the Trump equivalent, but nicer. He's like the uncle that you wouldn't mind being at the family dinner with. He gonna say something crazy, but you could still enjoy yourself. Rather than Trump being there, you like, I'm not coming. It's gonna be a shit show. I'm out. That's the difference. So now, as far as picking a candidate, we already know Trump has Pence. Pence really has nothing to him. He is only there to soothe the other Republicans so they feel like, Well, he won't let Trump go completely off the rails, which, of course, at this point, we already know he does. So there's nothing to him but just being, I guess, bringing along those other politicians that are in it for the vice president. Cool. Over here, we have who to pick. We're going to go with Kamala. Why are we going to go with Miss Harris? She's not fully black, right? Which is a plus for, again, some of the narrow minds. Because it was the same reason why they went with Obama to begin with, because of his mixed heritage. He was not fully black. His mother was white. So that smoothed over some. It smoothed over some, but it didn't, it didn't really smooth over a lot, but it did enough. It did enough. So then we're looking at that. So we have Harris and we have her husband. She's not full on, African American. She's of Jamaican descent and West Indies, what have you. Her husband is a Caucasian man. I think they're going to go with it. If not for nothing, just for that, just to kind of match energies of, because you're not gonna get a puppet out of Harris. At least we hope not. But you never know. Sometimes when you get in that position, in order to keep it, you kind of keep it on mute. I don't see Harris doing that, but who knows? We could see something totally different come that time. But it's nothing but a burger. But it'll be interesting to see. And if he doesn't pick her, I'll be surprised as to who he will pick, because I don't know. If it's not Harris, I could see Rice, but again, Rice is another one that nobody really knows. So that would be a reach a little bit. And then what will happen with Rice is they will dig up all of that Russia investigation, which she was, she signed off on a lot of the investigation parts because she was a part of the national security team. So she would, be dragged in all that. So I'm thinking it'll probably be Harris, because she doesn't really have too much of a tie to the Obama administration, to where in which she can be dragged into a lot of stuff. So I don't know. But anyway, let's go to some of these comments and see what you guys think. You said Warren and Harris are your picks. Yeah, I really do hope that they put Warren, though, as head of the Fed, the Secretary of the Treasury. Then she needs to do something, because it'd be foolish to let her go. But yeah, no, that's basically my thoughts on that. That is definitely my thoughts. So I'm hoping that I am right on this. Yeah, Rice would definitely be what you call it. Jordan, I bet you when 45 pulls his. It's not orange. Where are you for Bernie? I like Bernie. I do like Bernie. I'll say that. I like Bernie Sanders. However, I like Bernie Sanders. I do. I think he gets a bad rap because he's an independent running on the Democratic Party, and I think that's why they like to borrow from his ideas and don't kind of give him credit for it, and then act like they came up with it. And it's like, no, that was actually Bernie Sanders. I think the Democratic Party should step it up, and whatever program they do use from Bernie, they should give him credit for it. I think it's a little lackluster that you have all these programs, or you're pushing all these programs now that Bernie Sanders introduced in the 2016 running against Hillary Clinton, and now everybody's using it. and nobody wants to give the man credit. As he said, I made the damn bill, or whatever he says all the time. I want Warren in the cabinet position at least. Yeah, I do too. I hope that Warren definitely gets a cabinet position. Excuse me, my nose is itching like crazy, and I don't know why. And I won't be in y'all face scratching my nose, but because that's rude. But yeah, I hope he definitely picks Warren to be in some sort of cabinet position, because Warren is very vital to definitely to finance and definitely all this mess that the Trump administration has created. Speaking of this administration using campaign funds to pay themselves, I mean, a lot of money, like over $177 million. Yeah, between campaign funds. They've been violating campaign fund, because you're not supposed to pay people through campaign funds, and they're breaking it up, putting in companies, paying Donald Trump Jr.'s girlfriend, Eric Trump's wife. All these people are getting paid, and I mean big time payments. They're getting like hundreds of thousands of dollars for the year, basically really doing nothing. But again, they're saying that they work for the Trump administration through channels of media and things of that nature. Again, this is the same administration that's made millions of dollars with an inauguration fund, huge, lot of money. Nobody knows where the money went. And it didn't go to any of the festivities or anything. So I think Trump has been patting his pockets since he figured out he could. He's been patting his pockets. And when he leaves, if it's, by force or whatever it is, he will definitely be leaving with a few stacks. So beware, you've been warned. Trump is about to definitely rob you blind. Okay, so when you get that tax bill next year or the year after, and it's extremely high, and you ain't getting nothing back, you can thank your former President Donald Trump for that. Yeah, I mean, they've violated every law known to man. They continue to violate. They don't have anybody in the White House ethics department at this moment, as far as a head to blow the whistle on the stuff that they do. So a lot of times people in the department will send the information to the news outlets, and they will expose it. That's why the press secretary, the new guy, he's been trying to shield up the leaks by giving the press outlets fake information to try and see who is the leaker. But I think people are smarter than that. But this administration is just making money hand over fist, and the best thing we can do is vote, you guys. That is so important, because it's the only way we can really exercise our voices. Yeah, I mean, even they talked about with what they did to Michael Cohen, who was the former lawyer for Donald Trump. Remember, he was released from prison. He was supposed to do 3 years in prison because he lied to Congress and the FBI about his dealings with Trump. And he was in prison in upstate New York. However, due to the coronavirus and his health, he was released to home confinement. Now, ain't that nice? Where you can be hit jail at home. However, the Justice Department, now today, they lied and said that they did not send anything to Michael Cohen from the Justice Department. However, even Michael Cohen's lawyer said that that was a lie. The letter came directly from the Justice Department, that he had to sign a waiver, basically an NDA, that he could not talk about or write or anything about this book that he has coming out called disloyal his time in the Trump administration with Trump, or any news media interviews, nothing. He was just supposed to stay home and not do nothing. He agreed. He said, nope, I don't want to sign that. Um, that's, violating my First Amendment rights. I'm not signing it. Got his lawyers on top of it. When they got word that he wasn't going to sign it, they immediately had his probation officer called and had him snatched and put back in jail. So then he went, he filed court papers. The court saw him instantly fast, and he was before the judge pleading his case, and the judge was like, nope, send him home. He was like, the Justice Department is trying to violate his First Amendment rights. He has every right to do what he needs to do. He would be doing it in jail anyway. So what's the difference? I mean, he could still write a book in jail. He can still have interviews in jail. It's the same thing. Send him home. So he is now in home confinement, but I mean, free nonetheless. But again, that's what happens, I guess, when you have the money to do so. Because, some of us are innocent and still sitting in jail waiting for a court date, or could not pay, whatever we needed to get released, and are sitting in jail right now through all of this coronavirus and everything else. And then on top of that, after all these people who got released, mostly entangled with the Trump administration or whatever, for the fact that this COVID was spreading throughout the prison system, the Justice Department then went back and changed a lot of the requirements for the release of prisoners out, due to the coronavirus. So it's been changed again, to bar people from being early released. And it's, it's really sad. It just really, really is. There's nothing you can say that would make it seem to be fair, but it is definitely very much steeped in privilege that isn't fair to a lot of people. So I don't know, but it's definitely not cool. Hey, what's going on? Thanks for coming. Let's see what else I wanted to talk about real quick. I was looking at this thing talking about how much everybody gets paid in the Trump administration. It's pretty interesting. If you check it out, it was The Delight, actually. Everybody in the White House who gets paid. It says Trump gets paid $400,000. Mike Pence gets paid $230,000. Chief of Staff gets paid $203,000. Now, these are not even talking about all the side stuff that they may get. The trade and manufacturing, the president's assistant who created the trade and manufacturing policy, Peter Navarro, he gets paid $183,000. And most of these people are already wealthy, mind you, due to their own businesses that they have and things that they run. Chief of Staff of the First Lady gets $183,000, so on and so forth. So like some of these people get money and they don't even need it. They don't even need it. It's really really crazy. And here we are, people don't have jobs due to this pandemic that could have been handled a hell of a lot better. And the fact that he keeps throwing, and that's another thing that irks me, and I get it that Obama is a politician first, and you never want to kind of dip back or go back and forth with your predecessor because it's just not a good look. But this I'm really getting tired of, and I just wish he would just one time be like, if you say my name one more time, like, stop, and really just let him have it just one good time. I just want that. But that's just wishful thinking. So I don't know if that'll happen. But anyway, I came across an article, and thanks, Brother Nate, for this article. I thought it was quite interesting. The USDA and agriculture officers in multiple states have had warnings go out to any farmers. And I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with any farmers or if your family has farms, but apparently China has been sending farmers these suspicious seeds. Don't know what kind of seeds they excuse me, what kind of seeds they are. They've just been randomly showing up in many farmers' mail, and it's rang the alarm because we don't know what kind of seeds they are, what they do. Excuse me, what kind of seeds they are, what they do. So, and with this virus going on, and as vulnerable as we are as a nation, it is imperative that we, kind of lock down on certain things. So, of course, these seeds, these suspicious seeds are going in. We don't know what they are, what they do. As of right now, we have the greatest food supply in the world. So we want to definitely protect that. Yeah, my great aunt and uncle have are farmers as well, and they have plenty of land too. So when I saw it, I was like, oh wow. Yeah, so I don't, we fight many, not every war is sending military and guns and boots on the ground to go fight. A lot of wars are fought kind of through cyber, through the cutting off of food supply, through the cutting off of resources. So, this could be, it could be a form of some sort of attack. Who knows? I just know that it is very worrisome because, again, you're dealing with already the coronavirus, which has pretty much, for all intents and purposes, pretty much crippled the United States right now at this moment. Like at this moment, if anything, God forbid, was to happen, you could cancel Christmas. There's no way. No way. I mean, they're always trying to pad the numbers to help them look better, but unemployment is still rising. Businesses where people are employed, they're going to have to cut back because, of course, you can't have so many people working until they get a hold on where this virus is coming from, what it does, how it can actually be transmitted, because they don't really know. They really just throw stuff up in the air. I was watching the video again of that Houston doctor talking about hydrochloroquine, which Trump was promoting yet again. And understand this, that Trump and the people around him, they are not dumb. So understand when they're promoting something and, putting it in front of the TV, and they've already got a stake or got paid to do so. So that drug company that makes the hydrochloroquine, trust and believe, senators have stock in it. Trump himself probably has stock in it. So when he's promoting it on TV and doing all that, it's for a reason. So this African doctor, she's promoting, she uses hydrochloroquine and some other things on her patients, and they're all fine. Granted, and that in fact may work, but there is no scientific data that proves that it works across the board. It may work for some people, but they need something that will work across the board. And that's usually how test things are done. It's like, okay, they have group A, group B, and group C. Sometimes group A, it'll work. Group B, it won't. Group C, certain things may work, and certain things about that combination of medications don't. But that's what you got, that's kind of trial and error. So when people go around promoting these different things and different products, especially from the White House, trust is done for a reason. So I'm not saying I don't know. I've never taken hydrochloroquine. I don't know if it personally does not work, but I know the business he's running. And he's running business of promote the product almost like a commercial and sell it. Okay, so when he's holding up the Goya cans, you're like, what the hell? Goya in the Oval Office, have they ever? It's promotion. Goya, that man is giving tons of money to the Trump administration, which Trump has pocketed for himself. And you damn right he gonna pick up a can of Goya, him and his daughter both, and gonna smile and say it in English and Spanish like some old idiots. But of course, because they're getting paid to do so. It's paid advertisement. So, it's sad that the people, everyday people, are losing their lives. And some people that, the group in, I'm sure where they were from, but they had taken something that had a hydrochloroquine phosphate in it, which is slightly different and used for fish tanks and stuff. But all they saw was hydrochloroquine, and they took it. The husband wound up dying. Wife was in like critical condition. I haven't heard anything about her, so I'm sure she's probably made it. How you doing, Smart Show? Hey, Queen Diva, how are you? Welcome. So I don't know. I just find it again to be a bit like people just pay attention. Don't believe everything you see. Just be mindful. Be critical of it. What's being done is, of course, they're throwing stuff in your face so much so that you just get tired of the whole thing and be over it and just be like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to watch this anymore. I don't even want to vote no more. I'm over it. Whatever happens, happens. That's why they do it. It's to push that definite sense of, you know what? I'm over this. I want to tune out. But we can't. We cannot tune out. If we tune out now, the future looks pretty bleak for us, and it just does. With his push to get these private policing groups and drop them in Democratic cities. Notice he said Democratic cities, not, cities across the world, across the nation, you know what I mean? Like cities across the nation. But no, he's dropping them in Democratic cities. And it says a lot about a person, that is really just gun ho on them and us, not about, again, being president of a nation. You're really just being a president to a few. You could care less about everybody else, and he really doesn't even care about them because, again, they're not in his tax bracket, so he doesn't really care. It's only for pop and circumstance. Promoted Kodak today with developing vaccines. I mean, yeah, that's all it is. That is really all it is. And when they posted that video again of the doctor in Capitol Hill talking about the hydrochloroquine, he went and posted it. John Jr. went and posted it. They wind up suspending John Jr. Suspended John Jr.'s Twitter account because he was posting it so much. Again, because it puts people in danger, because then people start requesting their doctors, hey, get me that, because it said it worked. It doesn't work for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So if in fact she's used that with a cocktail of other stuff and it worked for her patients, great. But that's no guarantee that it's going to work for everybody. It hasn't even been tested as a full-on thing. It was like, okay, somebody tried it. They put it in a journal. It worked for a certain type of malaria. All right. This is not malaria. I mean, though it could be a form of it, who knows? It could be a form, an upgraded form of the flu, being that we've always had a COVID of some sort. It could just be a mutation of the flu. However, you got to do testing to get to the root of that. And usually that testing does take a while. So I get that they're doing this rapid stuff and, oh, we should have one soon. Yeah, but at what cost? More lives? You're already at almost 200,000 dead. with 4 million and counting infected. It's only 300, about what, 300 and something million people in the United States. We're already at 4 million and counting. So that's 1 point in change, almost 2% of the population already infected with the COVID. So, there's things we just got to be mindful and smart about. And so, again, those who are farmers or those who have family members that are farmers, please let them know to not, if they get any suspicious packaging from China, not to open it, or definitely not to plant it, to contact the agriculture department. Let's see if I know right. Let me see, because there was a number that they had to contact. I wrote it down somewhere. Yeah, they had to contact their state plant registry official or their APHIS state plant health directory immediately and let them know that they've received these plants. Yeah, these seeds that came from China. So it's really, really crazy. Like, it's not, we're getting hit on a lot of fronts. Okay, so just be mindful. Believing Russia's still at it. They are pushing to get this president reelected. China's pushing whatever they're pushing, whether it's to get Trump reelected or just send the United States in chaos. You got the mail-in ballot situation about to be a huge problem up in New York when they had an emergency kind of primary. One of the people running, she's actually in Congress right now. She still is in her seat because she does not know if she won her primary yet. And that was back in June. The election was back in June. She doesn't know if she won her primary yet. And here we are almost in August. That's because she is waiting on mail-in ballots that haven't come in yet. So this is just the start of what this whole election cycle might look like. And that scares me a little bit. Because it brings me to the mindset of, the 2000 election with the dimple hanging chads and all that other garbage. You thought that was bad. This is about to be a whole lot worse if, in fact, this happens, which is why, again, they're working their behinds off. Not even, I'll just say it, they're working their asses off to make sure that they can kind of mess up the vote in any way they can. Prime example with the Postal Service. The Postal General is cutting tons of jobs and basically said that if packages or things happen to sit overnight, then they just have to sit overnight because he's cutting. He's cutting a lot of jobs, and he's doing it. He claims he's doing it to help the post office continue to run, but we all know he's doing it for the reasons why he's doing it. Because vote-in, mail-in ballots will be the thing of this election. They will be the key turning point to either whether Trump stays or whether he goes. Because a lot of people are not going to go out and vote. They're just not. They're not going to risk it. They're not going to risk themselves. So, yeah, 45 needs to go. But, if the people don't show up to the polls and they say, okay, well, voting is safer for me to do if I just vote from home, they'll do that. And Lord knows if they create like this app where you could vote, I wouldn't trust it. I would not trust it. Russia would be all over it. And most of what they not, it will follow the law and not count. Right, exactly. Armand, he did. He said that today. He said we'll follow the law if it's not postmarked by the deadline. But you have to realize there are tons of votes. There could be tons of votes that are postmarked by the deadline, but because they didn't receive it in time, just like it what happened in Florida when they was doing the whole recount of the votes in one county, and then like right, I think what a couple minutes was it like a 2 minutes or something like that, right when they handed it in, they was like, nope, we're not gonna take it. And it's just like, what? So you mean tell me you let them recount, excuse me, you let them recount all these votes, you let them go through all this, and then you're gonna sit there and tell them that you're not even gonna take it? I just think that it's a setup. It's a setup for something really big to come down the pike that we are just gonna be like, wow. This is really happening. I sense it. Would you say when they start checking? Yeah, your state website, right? I posted. I did have it. If you go to vote.org, it gives you all of that information. Hold on, I know I highlighted it somewhere in my thing. Where are you? Nope, nope. Where did the stuff go? No, that's not it either. Oh, it's up here. If you go to the vote.org website, it'll tell you all of that information. And I'll put it in here. Yeah. So if you go there, it'll tell you your you put in your state. It'll tell you your deadline date for your mail-in ballot, your deadline date to register to vote, all that good stuff. And please make sure you fill out your census too. Yeah, I mean, if you can go to the polls, or if you feel like, I feel a Bush candle come along. I feel it. I feel a 2000. I do. I feel a 2000 in my spirit. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. I feel a whole nother 2000. Definitely. But if you can go to the polls and wear your mask and do all that kind of stuff, I say go, do it. But again, they're pushing to push these. They're closing a lot of the polling places. They're making the polling places further for people, especially in the inner cities, to go to. You have to go somewhat on the outskirts, before you be able to go to your local, high school in the area, or junior high or whatever, and vote, or your local senior citizen center and vote. Now, because of the coronavirus, they have X'd out the community centers for the seniors voting and push some of the voting polling places out further, with longer lines to distract people from voting, because you look at the line and go, I ain't standing in that line. But please, if you can, do so. If not, make provisions to set up a mail-in ballot or something, because I'm telling you, this is really going to be crazy. They don't even have enough poll workers to work at the polls this coming November. So that will also put a strain on the voting process as well. Right, and you can take your ballot and drop it in the box. You can do that too. That is true. You can take your ballot and mail it in the box. When it comes to you, you can always take your ballot and mail it in the box. Yeah, definitely. I totally agree. Conspiracy all day. But it worked. It worked for George W. Bush. I'm just saying. Look how everything's playing out. George W. Bush, example. He had his brother was the governor of Florida, right? So they were able to knock that out. Look at Trump's situation. Trump's in office right now. He has uh, what's his face? The governor of Florida. Who was his lackey? He'll do anything he wants him to. He has a governor in Florida, so just in case if it happens to be Florida one yet again to be an issue, he has that in the pocket. He also has um, the Department of Justice. He has the Department of Justice. He also has, um, a stacked Supreme Court. So if it does come down to um, the Supreme Court making that decision yet again of who gets to be the president of the United States, we already know where that's going to go. So I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You got to read the tea leaves because it's out there. It's a lot of mess. So I don't know. But it'll be interesting, very interesting to watch these coming days. We are less than 100 days until election day. Um, they're supposed to be having their first debate pretty soon. I know they moved it. Uh, they're moving it to Cleveland, I believe. Don't quote me, but I think they were moving it to Cleveland. Um, but I'm curious to see what this first debate will be about because Trump won't be able to, walk around and cower over Joe Biden as he did with Hillary Clinton. So I want to know what kind of antics he will give. Do I think there will be a civil war? There's gonna be something. There's gonna be something, but the problem with what's going on, we're not um the descendants of our grandparents. We're not that generation. Just like you had the Black Armed Militia, uh, blew everybody's minds. They're walking around with guns, as demanding justice for Breonna Taylor, which scared half the time. I mean, I just read an article again about it, and I did an article the other day about it, and they're still talking about it. Like, oh, did you see the armed? There was an armed black militia. Well, why is that such a big thing? There are white militias that show up to protest all the time to intimidate the protesters, and no talk is mentioned. They come with their Confederate flags, waving, and it's not a problem. But the minute some black people show up with guns, hold up, wait a minute. Now we got to talk about it. We got to talk about the open carry situation. Why? Why does that need to be a discussion? Why does that need to be a discussion? I mean, yeah. But no, you're absolutely right, Jay Parrish. This is the one of the most important elections of our lifetime because our life depends on it. As people of color, our lives depend on it. As men of color, your life depends on it. Women of color, your life depends on it. I mean, it's a shame that we have to be somewhat in fear of getting pulled over and getting a ticket and have it escalate to the point where I possibly could lose my life because you're not going to like the way I answer you, and then you're going to want to, show your dominance over me. Nah, I can't. Hey, Auntie Donna, how you doing? Hey, Lady T, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Please make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way in, though, guys. Please, thanks. Yeah. They looking at the black militia and they need to be worried about how many guns black people have in their household. Yeah, they do. They do indeed. Hey, what's going on, Travis? Nice to see you. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's great to see. Hey, what's up, Rebel? It is great to see a black militia, walking around and demanding justice. Brings me back to the times of the Black Panther Party of the early 70s. Of course, I wasn't born then, but Of course, I wasn't born then. Sorry about that. But I definitely, watched all that stuff and documentaries and Eyes on the Prize, and I personally, I think it's a good thing. It's funny how all these gun regulations though came um, once the Black Panther Party was seen as a threat, uh, but because they had guns. So I don't know. No, was I born then? I mean, I don't know, Rebel. You might have been. You might have been. But I think it's just time. It's just time that we, stop the kumbaya and really asserted ourselves. And hey, if that means we all need to be licensed, and not saying that you have to use your weapon, but at least know how to use it when necessary, when you need to use it. Sure, sure. Why not? Why not? Again, because they can brandish their weapons, um, you know, during any protest and not feel endangered of anything. No kind of persecution, nothing. Just straight whatever. But it's always an issue when we want to demand rights and justice. So let's be very clear: that woman was killed. She was not, you know, uh, this was not a apprehension gone wrong. This was you were. They definitely showed up to the wrong place with bad intel or whatever they were planning to do. Because of course the word is that they um, work in conjunction with a gentrification um, program to get people out of their dwellings and tear it down or release it to another group of set of people and put the Starbucks and all that kind of stuff to change the view of the area because now everybody wants to live in a downtown swanky uh, apartment in the city. No longer do they want to live in the suburbs. Now we've made living in the city uh, so much fun, so much. Oh, I want to be so hip and like I'm one with the people that now they want to move, everybody out and push these people in. Mm-mm. Yeah. So, like I said, it's definitely something to uh, consider. The Black Panther Party will be in North Carolina tomorrow to protect the family. He's a young man who was walking from the dollar store and was shot by law enforcement. Oh wow, wow! I did not hear that. That's cool. Well, I mean, they need to be. I think they need to make their presence known more and more. Uh, ever since that, when the uh, militia in Michigan was showing up because they didn't want to be on lockdown anymore, and the white militia was showing up and threatening a lot of the black lawmakers. Many people in Michigan saw that and they suited up themselves, and these black men and women came down guns in tote to protect the lawmakers as they go from the Capitol to their cars and situations in Michigan because they felt threatened. And it's like, they're all in the Capitol with their guns threatening lawmakers and no one's saying anything. So, yeah, these men and women got together and, they vowed to protect these lawmakers in Michigan. And I think that's what we should, that's what we should do. Those who are capable to do so, you should be out there protecting your brothers and sisters because they protect their own, and their interests. So, we need to start doing the same. So that's all. Um, and I think, we will begin to make change because, of course, hey, sometimes you got to ruffle some feathers to make some change. Change it never comes easy and it's never smooth and it's never a swift transition. There's some bumps on the road, but you definitely have to, you know, you definitely got to make some noise. Michigan has tons of white supremacist groups. Yeah, they do. And it's funny that they don't even consider them to be terrorist groups, but they'll consider Black Lives Matter to be a terrorist group. Why? Why? I don't understand that. They even tried to equate it today in the hearing that people have lost their lives from, I don't know who, Congressman Gates. I can't stand him, but I don't know who he was calling a thug because I wanted to say so bad and nobody said it, but I was thinking it. Like, you sitting there calling somebody a thug, but the only thugs I remember watching on TV during that whole thing were the officers, like the same officers even in Buffalo that pushed that 70-year-old man down, and he cracked his skull, bleeding out of his ears, as he walked up to them, and they shoved him down. I mean, that's thug mentality. So yeah, those are the only thugs that I recall seeing. And even with the looting and robbing, of course, you're just going to show the one side. But yeah, there were tons of other people looting as well. Not to mention, there were people dressed in regular clothes, police officers, breaking windows and setting stuff on fire to, again, continue the narrative that, oh, yeah, we need officers. See, you don't need officers because if you get rid of the police, this is what they'll do. No, they set that up on purpose. Leaving piles of bricks in neighborhoods for people to pick up. It's a setup. It's all a setup. It's all a setup. Yep, white collar thugs. That's all it is. That's all they are. Right. That is a true known fact. Black people obey the law. White people use the law. Yeah, that is true. And it's for them. Yeah, they do. They really, really do. I really wish that Ohio State wrestling team would really clamp down on Jordan and get him the hell out of here, expose whatever he covered up while he was the wrestling coach at Ohio State, whatever kind of improper behavior that had happened between the assistant coach and those players that Jordan knew about. I just hope somebody exposes it and it takes him all the way out because I can't with him. I really can't. I like what you said. We're not. No, because we're not. I mean, we're not our ancestors. Yeah, we've learned the art of the peaceful protest, the nonviolent, and all that. And it does work to an extent. It does work to an extent, but we're dealing with a different breed of people. So you have to, you kind of have to adapt. It's almost like, being insane, doing the same thing over and over, trying to get a different result. If we're sitting here peacefully protesting and marching and we're still getting the same result, something is wrong. Something is wrong. And, Terry Crews always, well, if we pushing for all this stuff and we may start to get like them and use what they, but I mean, that's the fear of certain people in the culture anyway, that we will obtain power and treat them the same way they've treated us for so many years. Now, do I know that to be true? I don't know. Some people might get the treatment, but I don't think everybody. I don't think it's I really don't, because really, we're not that type. We're not that type. A lot of us aren't vindictive like that. It's kind of in the makeup, but you can't push people to a degree in which you push them so much, and then you get to a point where enough's enough, and nobody's gonna keep allowing you to downgrade them or treat them less than, to the point where they start to rise up. And then now that you see that within a 10-year span, 10, 20-year span, you won't, your race will be kind of non-existent. So that makes you nervous in and of a nutshell. Hey, Mika, how you doing? What'd you say, TC? Let this be a lesson to Black people. We have, yeah. Yeah, and we need to have a plan too. Like, it's all well and good if we're gonna, go down, you know, in a blaze of glory and all that, but you need to have a plan. One thing about, you know, the John Lewises and the Andrew Youngs, the Martin Kings, and all, they still had a plan. They still mapped this whole thing out, even down to if um, if the sheriff would attack the children or would attack protesters, they still had a plan on how to get these kids out. Um, the hospital, which was the only hospital that would, take people of color, was on standby, ready to take people that were injured. Nurses were available. There was always a plan. So we need to definitely have a plan. Do we need a leader? That part of it kind of, I always, make a little like, really? Why do we need like why are we the only people that need leaders? It seems like I never understood that. Yeah. It's not one another vote to get involved. Yeah, and definitely vote to get involved in your school board. Know that a lot of things are working up against us at this moment. You even have Facebook putting their 2 cents in this election, pushing to get Donald Trump elected, taking money from Russian operatives to put ads in Facebook. So, of course, if you get those emails and things or something sent to you in your box, please don't open it. Yeah, I mean, that's all we can't do is pray and vote. Yeah, I mean, we can pray and vote, but you can pray and vote and do other actions too. Did you check out information? No, if I did, it was probably earlier, like early on. Oh, I'm talking to yourself. Did you see it? Yeah, plans and executions are important. It really is. Protesting drills and yeah, all of that are necessary and important. They did, we have to understand that those lunch counter sit-ins and all of that, those were planned. Those were strategically planned. And I mean, they were prepared for everything that got thrown at them because they had to sit through it amongst their own people. They had to sit there and take everything being poured on them, spit on them, everything, even when they wanted to react, to train them just to sit there, take it, and endure it. So it wasn't just we're just gonna go and sit and make a difference. No, they really did some training. Sorry for jumping right without addressing it all. Oh no, you're fine. You are fine. No, TC, we got you. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. Um, yeah, Facebook is getting, like I said, Facebook's getting a lot of money, and we have to understand that this was all, although we have gotten far, through the civil rights movement and so on and so forth, we still have a ways to go, and we can't, sometimes we all do get comfortable and think, we made it or we're in a comfortable spot. No, we can never get that comfortable. We can never get that comfortable when we have brothers and sisters in the street dying either from police brutality or sometimes even from from ourselves in our own situations. That in and of itself is a problem. But we can chew gum and walk at the same time. So it's not like, oh no, we only have to pay attention to police brutality and be uh, upset and outraged about police brutality. No, we can be upset and outraged about these random killings out of nowhere. But we can also be critical thinkers and maybe take a step back and think, they did talk about defunding the police, right? Right. So to counteract, oh, you want to defund the police? Oh, yeah, they're going to make their calls to their street affiliates that they protect, that they cover up for, and vice versa, and say, hey, I need you to do this to, until and stop when I say so. We you've seen the movie, so it ain't like it's impossible for it not to happen. There's always some sort of street gang, and then there's always a police officer who is kind of affiliated in the group. I mean, it's possible. It works. How else would the potential dealer or street business person be able to stick and move and not get caught? They have to have somebody on the inside being able to tell them, hey, you're hot right now, lay low, or hey, you're good. It's possible. I don't put nothing past no one or nothing at all. What was your question? What do you suggest as engagement with the neighborhood? Because some don't want to deal or to watch the community or clean it up for the community. Yeah, and that's the issue. Because one, you got to have pride in where you are, and I think a lot of times, because of the situations that look the way they look, a lot of us seem to give up on our neighborhoods and our areas and think, okay, all I want to do is move out of here and have a better life. But somebody has to come back and reinvest and let the people who are there know that that it's good here too. It may be great over there, but it's good here too. And they have to find the value in where they are. And through community improvement is the only way we can do that. Now, yeah, we could say, oh, if we were given more resources, yeah, but why does somebody have to give us resources? Why can't we tap into our own resources? Why do we have so many people, and we do have a lot of millionaires who happen to be people of color, but why is there no money coming back into the community? The only way they do that is they say, oh, yeah, we'll build a high rise and put some affordable housing in, but we'll tear these houses down. Yeah, okay, but then you put 4 units in there in a building that has about, 5,000 people. But 4 units are only, so that leaves the rest of the neighborhood to go where? To do what with? So, and then you got the police department, you got the community board, you got the school boards, and most of the times, all these boards are full of people of the other persuasion. And I'm trying to understand, how is that possible when they don't even live here? But it's how it's set up. It's how it's set up. So definitely have to change that. What are you saying? Yeah, definitely so. I agree with that. Yeah, a lot of them are. A lot of them are. Not saying all, but a lot of them are. Yeah, please make sure you hit that like button, please. Thank you. But anyway, yeah, and that's really all I had. I didn't really have anything else. I don't know if anybody else has any questions. now is a good time to post them. Or if you just wanted to, I guess, say something real quick, I guess I can put this down here because I do not have my other phone, so I cannot do um, call-ins right now. So I will just do that. And no, you don't have to show your face. Just be respectful. Um, if you do, um, and they don't have our children's best interest. Yes, that's please. That's a key point. Please, parents, please, be smart. Please, be smart. If you can, uh, for those of you who are educators, if you can homeschool, I think that would be the best option. There's something telling me that this is a plan to further infection among people of color is to get these kids who you know can be passing uh, this virus on to their relatives. Um, just please don't do it if you can. Now I know a lot of you cannot or may not be able to, but if we can figure out something, because I think this right here, having these kids go back to school, and Florida is demanded to open like next week. So I'm just like, wow, you really don't care about kids, and then but your own kids though, you won't let them go. Your own kids, you won't let them go. They asked the president himself about him letting his son back to school. He's talking about, oh, that'll be a personal decision. What do you mean? What do you mean a personal decision? How is it personal for you, but you're demanding that we send our kids back to school? Almost to the point where you're going to deny or try to deny uh, school funding if they don't open schools. Yeah, and then you have right the special need classes and all these things. Just these kids, that part just really gets me. I could get adults. I want to go back to work. Okay, cool, whatever. If you want to put yourself out there, I don't want to be locked up no more. That's cool. But children, even when I see kids and they don't have no mask on, even though they say, oh, you have to be a certain age to get. I'm not buying that either. I'm not. I'm not. I just feel like if I'm going out and I'm protecting myself, I want to protect my children too, because I don't want. Um, I definitely want them to be in danger, and to force these children back into school, where in which we don't know if any of these people have been infected. Um, have they had the coronavirus? And because the study is showing now that even if you've had coronavirus and you no longer have it, there may be strands of it still in you. So you don't know what effect that'll have on children. It's just really, really sad. And then you had this little girl, this 14-year-old. I mean, 14-year-old. I'm looking at what you wrote. Was it 8? She was 8 years old. Both of her parents are in the medical field, and she winds up dying. So, and she had no, underlying health condition. So we don't know. We don't necessarily know at this point what's what. Um, hold on one second, because I have somebody backstage, but it is saying that you're not connected. So I don't know. Hold on. Hello, hello, hello. Hey,
Hey, this is TC. What's going on?
how you
So,
doing, TC?
all right, how y'all doing in the chat? What's poppin'? What's poppin'? Okay, so this is my theory, my own special little theory. I think that they are purposely pushing this because they are trying to get the pharmacies to go ahead and push the immunizations without having any real testing. Do you
Right,
remember what was it a couple of years ago? I forgot what that major, our last major disease was, and
right,
they pushed the vaccine, and when they did a 10-year study or 5-year post study, the people who took those vaccines the early time, they got real sick, and some died, and
right.
they didn't have any they couldn't sue the government because it was like a do or die situation. So I'm thinking they're doing the same thing and driving up, of course, to stop
Mm-hmm.
for the pharmacy. So that's why they keep pushing that. Oh yeah, you have to go to school. You could go with no mask. They're
Mm-hmm.
really in. We're guinea pigs at this point.
Right, right,
So that's
right.
all I really had to say. But
Yeah, no, very true. I agree. I totally agree. I think it's um not only just being guinea pigs, but just, putting it out there to see what effect it would be, what effect it will have if we just put all these kids out there, send them back home, the effect that it will have on the teachers, the effect that it'll have on the communities as a whole. It's ridiculous. It really is. I just think that we need to protect our children because
yeah,
obviously the system is not designed, especially this system's not designed to protect them.
yeah, I really think this is another part of the environmental racism
Right,
to have this involved with the vaccination, because of course, let's say they're going to try to make us vaccinate our kids. They're
right,
going to try to make it like, oh, you're going to have to do this or your kids can't go to school.
right,
So my part in that then is like, well, what is the religious sector is going to say with that, because they are so against vaccinations.
right,
Well,
right,
what are they going to do then? Is it going to be like, oh well, this is a crisis, but we've had crises before, and it was like, no, let God take care of it. So
right,
are we going to do the same thing this time too? So,
right.
but I've been thinking about that. I really think that they're doing this to a, yes, get rid of black people, of course, and
Mm-hmm.
b, because I think everything is a grand design to get rid of black folks. That's why
Yeah.
you gotta pay attention.
Amen. Amen. Hello.
I swear they're like, oh my God, they just won't die. No,
Right, right,
we
right.
won't.
No matter what we throw at them, they just won't go
They just
away.
woke up because
Yeah,
we do, and this
exactly.
is another thing, because I believe that we do have the hand of God with us. Although we've been cursed, we got the hand of God with us too. Going
Right,
back to the Bible things and what have you, but we don't have to get into that right now. But
right.
yeah, that's what I feel.
But I'm with
That's
you on
I
that.
really do. I've been paying attention. I was like, they keep pushing this vaccine, and they
Yeah,
just want to make it to the point of despair.
right,
So it's like,
right.
damn, there's been no vaccination trials up to the third, what is it, the third portion of it, the third cycle.
Third cycle, yeah.
Yeah, in 10 years condensed in like
Mhm.
two. Nobody's done that. And yet we're going to take our bodies and our kids' bodies and be like, okay, yeah, give us all of that, because now they double up on vaccines, even
Right,
triple up on vaccines now, which is really bad for some of the kids
right,
anyway. So now
right,
you're putting this new virus on somebody that we don't even know how it's going to affect us. And I swear they're trying to I am legend the hell out of us. I swear.
right, right, right. That part exactly. I don't know. Like, I just feel like even people, I think to a point, even people that are on government assistance, they will demand that they get vaccinated in order to receive their benefits. It's coming.
Yeah.
All of it's coming.
Yeah, but nothing and still nothing in the government is open. Everybody
Right.
keeps saying, "Are they going to do this?" But none of the government buildings are open.
Mm-mm.
None of them are open still.
Nope.
So why at least don't? Why haven't anyone asked that question? If you want my child in school, why aren't your government buildings open yet?
Right.
Just none. You
None.
can't
Not a
get
one.
not a one. You can't
Nope.
even get it. Nobody answers the phone there, but they want you and yours. They want yours to go to school.
Right. Right.
See? especially black kids in
Right.
poor communities
Right.
that they can guinea pig on. Just
Hmm.
saying. Conspiracy
That
theorists at your
that they
finest.
that they probably can put the vaccine in their free food. We don't know.
Yes, you don't know.
We don't know what the push is to get these kids in school.
Yeah,
I really
I don't put nothing past the government when it comes
nothing.
to black people because they've done everything to black people. So the government, anytime when the government said, "Yeah, trust us," I know everybody
Right.
else like, "Yeah, what is the government?"
Right.
Not with black people.
Nope.
I
Nope.
don't trust them. They've done.
Nope.
They had enough history of crack, anything outside of crack, slavery. There you go.
Right.
Nothing and everything in between.
Everything in between.
I
Yeah.
don't trust them between
Yeah.
crack and slavery. I
Right.
don't trust anything the government has to say. But that's
Right.
my 2 cents. I'm gonna go ahead and let you go. Nice talking to you, Kay.
All right. Nice talking to you too, TC. Thanks.
All right, bye.
All right. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Mika, you are muted. You have to unmute yourself. Okay. There you go.
Hey, what's up, Christian?
Hey, what's going on, Mika?
I'm good. I'm good. I was talking about I was asking you, did you get to see the first march that the NFAC, because I got to check out your other news thing you was talking about the march. I think it was this morning or yesterday morning.
It
But
was
I
yesterday.
wanted to know if you checked out the first formation they did
Oh yeah, I saw,
the
yeah.
NFAC.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that when
And it's just so funny. I'm agreeing with what TC just said, how they just do us as black people. Because first of all, when it comes to the protest situation, it's like they only want to show when they see bad stuff. So they didn't really, the white media didn't really do a big story, and you couldn't find nothing about them. How many people went out and did a formation to Stone Mountain to the birth of the KKK? You know, where they meet at.
Yeah, I know, I saw that. Yeah,
But it was so funny how when they did this formation and they went to Louisville to get answers for Breonna Taylor,
right.
an
They
incident
got all that
happened and
media
they tried to
publicity.
make it
Yeah,
seem like it was the NFC and they shot three of their members and
yeah,
it was just crazy.
yeah. Well, the paper said, the paper I read when I did the article said that three of the members got shot accidentally, but no severe injuries. But I chose not to put that because it wasn't important, because it could be seen as, look at these idiots, don't know how to carry a gun, they
Right.
shot themselves. You know what I'm saying? So that's, granted, media have its way of shading different groups when they want to in their
Exactly.
wording and how they say things. So a
And it
lot of
wasn't
times,
even true. Like we watched the whole live stream. Like I've been following them since I found out about them for when they did the formation on 4th of July.
yeah,
What
I know.
happened
Yeah, I
was
saw
it was
that
other
too.
people that was, how they had different groups that was joining in on the side because they are coalitions, so they also work in alliance with other groups like the new Black Panther Party, the
Mhm.
different nations of people that have their own gun groups, the
Right.
Huey Union, Huey Newton Gun Party, Gun Club. So it was a lot of people out there, and happened to be one person that wasn't really a member in their formation, but he
Mhm.
was with them,
Right.
and he passed out. He had one of them old guns. When he passed out, the guns fell, and it hit the cement, and the cement, that's what it ricocheted and hit the other two people. But it
Oh, okay.
wasn't like, okay, he shot somebody. You get what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
And we watched the whole live stream. The live stream was like it was two live streams, but one was and they did like two other ones that came up, and then you can hear the gunshot. You can hear the
Mhm.
gunshot. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
It was handled, but it was just amazing to me because I'm like, I told Janine was actually with me when this happened. We
Mhm.
was watching the live stream, and I said, Janine, I said, watch they turn this into something totally different, white media.
Right.
Sure enough, the next day they talking about, they shot
Yeah,
three of their
shots was
members.
fired. Yeah, shots was fired. Yeah, I've read that. Yeah, but like I said, I know when they're talking, when they're down talking something or trying to uh, add a little stink on it
Right.
to still engage in that other part of the people that read
Right.
that paper. So, I really don't pay it no mind, but yeah, I did read that. I definitely did read that.
And one more thing too.
Mhm.
So what TC was saying about the vaccines, that was another thing that I had a problem with too, because you see the stories is coming up that Bill Gates, when they want to they was doing the trials in Africa. What is that all about? And I know I was on Facebook. And I was just like, no, don't do it, because first of all, Africa don't even have a high percentage of people with.
But they always doing vaccines in Africa. I don't know if it. I mean, I
using our
get
people as guinea pigs.
with America, but they're always anytime there's something, there's always a trial done in Africa for whatever.
Right.
But again, that's when the power shifts need to start happening, and we need to start speaking up about these things.
Right.
To say, hey, no, you can't do that. But again, you got to have the power to do that. You got to be able to withhold something to say, you know what, y'all keep going over there trying to test people for stuff like that. We're going to hold back our buying power. Something. You got to hold back something. There's got to be something to be like, hey, you can't do this. We won't allow you to do this, or else we'll do this. So we got to have a counter. And, right now we don't have much to counter with but our buying power. And, people don't even stay on par with that. So
I know that's the truth. That's the first thing I was talking about on my page and my channel, about people just starting to boycott these big companies, because that's where the money's at. That's where the advertising and everything come at. They say, oh, Facebook, let's just put our black page on there. But what's that going to do if you don't boycott the company? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, but and another thing, our black people, we got to start making sure we wear our masks, because I just watched a video on Facebook of my people out in Queensbridge. All of them gather, like hundreds of them gather in the park, and they made me mad, because it's one thing, okay, we can't make some of these white people see that this is difference, right? But y'all know we are the highest, black and brown, especially black people in communities, are getting killed by this virus the most, right? How all of them inside the park having this big old celebration for this guy that passed away, and guess where he passed away from? COVID. Are y'all serious?
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, so I just need for our people to wake up. We can't do nothing about everybody else. Our people to wake up and wear their masks and their social distance, or the partying can wait till next year. Seriously.
I mean, it's not even that serious. You can get on the computer and Zoom a party if you want to.
That's what I said. I mean, and they had no masks on their face. They was doing the same thing. Like, listen, y'all not. Half of y'all sitting out here, you probably even been to the doctor in a year or so.
And the problem is our communities don't even have the health resources to take care of a large spread of COVID. This is one of the reasons why the Black and brown communities are affected so much by COVID, because we do not have the resources in our health units to combat the virus itself. We just don't. So a lot of people wind up dying because they don't have the facilities, they don't have the beds, they don't have the machines, so on and so forth. But again, part of this systematic system of racism.
Well, thank you, Christian. I hope everything is working out with you, and I love your show. You're doing very great with your show, and I guess you can take the next call. That's what I wanted to talk to you about, because I didn't know if you caught the other two questions.
I caught the first one when it was at Stone Mountain. I caught that. Yeah, but thank you so much for stopping by. I know you said you had a channel. I guess you can put it in the chat so people can check you out as well. Because we want to make sure that we check out everybody and we don't leave nobody out. So definitely make sure you put your name in the chat, because you can't click on you no more and go to your page and check you out. So I don't know what that was about, but anyway. But thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good night.
You too.
All right, you guys. Again, like I said, thank you guys for coming out. Hope you had a great session with me. Hope you learned something. Hope we were able to have great dialogue and really hear each other out. And again, I ask that you vote not necessarily who you vote for, as long as you vote. Now, granted, the way things are going, it'd be nice to not vote for someone who is online with your complete oppression. uh, but, if that's what you see fit to do, then so be it. But my main thing is that you vote. Voting is important. So many of us have lost our lives for the right to vote. We just lost a civil rights giant who was in this fight since he was 15 years old. So understand that, and passing at 80 and still talking about protesting for equal rights and justice at 80, and he started at 15 and still has to keep saying the same thing, is a testament that we have not, we've come far, but we have not come far enough. So please don't lose sight of the road ahead. And yes, it'll be filled with a lot of hills and valleys, but just stay focused. Stay focused on the agenda. And if the agenda is just to get Trump out for you, then so be it. Because we can really work out everything else once he's out. That is very much true. Once you get him out, you could really work on everything else to make sure that we have an equal footing in the process. That can definitely be done. But like I said, if your goal is just to get him out, which at this point, that is where my head is. Just get him out, gut this system of corruption, and really have a nation in which we can feel a part of. For so long, it's been the nation and us. So at what point do we get a chance to feel like we actually belong to a place that we were brought to? So, I mean, it's just really, but definitely rest in power to John Lewis. And who gives a damn that the president does not want to attend any services to John Lewis? We already know what kind of asshole he is. And it's just plainly that simple. We know what kind of asshole he is. We don't need his presence there for somebody that great. For Donald Trump to show up anyway, it would definitely dampen the mood. It wouldn't be a great look for the people that will be there. So the hell with him if he doesn't want to show up. That's fine for him. I'm sure he wasn't invited anyway. Right, exactly that part. Sure he wasn't invited any goddamn way. So who the hell cares? But anyway, again, we can't be looking for these people to want to be a part or want to celebrate our achievements. We have to start celebrating our own achievements and being secure within ourselves that we don't need the okay from any of them. If you don't want to celebrate me while I'm living, you don't even want to celebrate me when I'm gone, you don't need to celebrate me at all. How about it? Let my people celebrate me who know what I've done and care about my vision. Let those people celebrate me. So on that note, hope you guys have a great night. Thank you guys for coming by and chilling with me for a whole hour and 40 minutes. Woohoo. And listen to me run my mouth. Thank you for everybody for popping on. It was great. Thanks to TC. Thanks to Mika, my damn, I believe that's how your name goes. Thank you for coming by. Thanks for everybody. Thank you, Jess, for showing up. I appreciate you. My Tuesday wife, I guess. So thanks for showing up. Thanks to everybody, the locals, my favorites. Thank you guys for always showing up and showing support and always, kicking it with me. Definitely appreciate it. And to everybody else, have a great night. Peace, and I'm out.